It takes a lot to surprise a guy like me. I thought I'd seen it all. In 2020, I announced what I assumed was a surprise of a lifetime. After 40 years, I sold my company to you, the employees of Preferred Pump. I'll never forget that day. We celebrated the news together, and I even saw a few old-timers wipe away tears. Because what you built, it meant something, and it was yours. As word spread across the country, astonishment and gratitude streamed in from our branches, vendors, and customers. But the real surprise was yet to come. Over the following years, despite historic challenges and uncertainty, you made our company more successful than ever. We added new branches, put pins in the map, hired more employee owners, and our shared stock value exceeded all expectations. I didn't want this company and its culture to change, but you made it even better. So this is your story, how the employees became owners and surprised the hell out of an old guy who thought he'd seen it all.
I didn't want a job, I wanted a career.
I actually applied from a newspaper article.
And basically I went on Craigslist.
Sent my resume over.
On the way to the interview, and I'm praying, Lord, please give me this job.
I was 18.
I wore a long sleeve shirt because I have tattoos and a corporation. I'm thinking, how are they even calling me for an interview?
Just when I started, I remember.
They just seemed genuinely happy.
I started as a temp.
That's a file clerk.
As a driver.
Dennis hired me on the spot, and that was 16 years ago.
15 years.
18 years ago.
23 years.
25, 26 years.
20-something years.
26 years.
27 years later, I couldn't imagine a different company.
But back in the 90s, Preferred Pump was the evil empire, and we competed against Preferred Pump everywhere. It was also a time of tremendous consolidation in our industry.
Then this smooth-talking Texan came in and he wanted to expand into the West Coast.
Because there wasn't a Preferred Pump on the East Coast. Brandy came in and we opened the branch in Gainesville back in '97.
So we saw Preferred Pump get bigger, and we began to have a national footprint with Preferred.
Quickly, it was a reassurance, and I just wondered how I got so dang lucky.
I'll be honest with you, when I worked for the other distributors, one company that I swore I'd never work for was Preferred Pump. But then I got to meet the people, and that was the total turnaround for me.
When I was pregnant, I was the assistant controller. Long days, I would take work home. After he was born, I was on a business trip, and my husband called me and said, I'm taking Noah to the hospital. That day, oh man, I went to Randy and Scott. Everything was dropped in the middle of a Minnesota open house. They immediately gave me the keys to the car, booked a ticket for me so I could be with my family. After that, I was like, I need to be mom, and I'm afraid I have to step back. But they actually created a position for me to be mom and to be an employee. Preferred Pump allowed me to do both.
We are track and field enthusiasts. That's what we did as a family. I promised my son, when I first started training him, I told him one day you're gonna be a state champion. So those early days was like I would come in, get the job done, get him from school, and we're out on the track. Get up and come back to work the next day. Dedication at home, dedication here. So finally, 2019, we won the state championship. And all this was with Preferred's help, thinking about the family, not just the employee, the family also.
Growing up, my dad and my grandfather started a trucking business. Nobody else on the street, none of my friends had 18-wheelers in their driveway. So from an early age, I saw hard work and dedication. When I travel across the country, I see that same spirit in our employees.
I started just answering the phones. I was just a receptionist. I couldn't tell you what a pump was, but you'd be driven to learn more. I never stopped, so I kept moving up. And now I enter orders, I do all the purchasing, I'll do the receivables, I'll load customers, pull the orders, and then I'll even throw on my pink hard hat when they need me and jump on that forklift.
But I teach my daughters, you do your job, you do it the best of your ability, and somebody's gonna notice it. And that's kind of what happened with me. I worked hard, I love this company, and I've moved up in it.
I was a single mom at the time, just bought my first home when my mom got sick. She had worked her whole life, but she really didn't have anything. And so there was really nothing when she passed. And then we get to the funeral day, and I look up and there's this caravan of cars coming. And they're all Preferred Pump people. People that work here in this building, people that work at other branches. There were more people at that funeral that were there to support me than people that have ever met my mother. And that moment is what embodies Preferred Pump's family mentality for me.
Randy and I were both moving on up. We might be getting into the 2-minute warning of our game. And a thought that passes through everybody's mind is, what's gonna happen to Preferred when something happens to Randy?
There were a lot of conversations with employees, customers, vendors. Those questions were real.
Then you go, oh, where does that leave my job? Where does that leave my family? I put my heart and soul into this industry for so many years. Now where do you go?
We had a big meeting that we have to attend. And of course, everybody's not sure what the meeting is all about. Could be bad or good.
When he told us I've sold and it's already happened, my heart sank. I mean, I thought, am I gonna have to make another career change in my 40s now?
And I said things are not gonna be the same because sometimes when you sell companies, a lot of changes come along with it.
But then when he told us he had sold to us, I mean, like my heart come back up and I was like, really?
And I got tears in my eyes and I looked around. I'm like, this is life-changing for everybody in here.
The relief that filled the room, it's almost like a collective, whew, now we can breathe again. You know, to watch him do that and to put that much faith in us, yeah, it does mean something.
We was clapping, we was high-fiving each other. You know what just happened?
Every company out there says people are our most important asset. Well, how many companies actually believe that and live that? And when you take all your employees and make them owners, the ESOP just proves how much we believe the people that have made this company the most successful have been the employees.
That plaque that had your position within the company.
I mean, I don't know how many people called me, hey, what's your number? What's your number? Like, they were so excited to talk about where they fell on that number list of the original stock owners.
Those really long-time employees, they highlighted us in a way that showed these are the people that built it. These are the people that got Preferred from here to here. And that meant everything. That just calling us out and appreciating what we had done for so many years, that was enough.
Now I'm not just dealing with a branch manager, I'm dealing with an owner. Now when I'm talking to the truck driver about how he should handle my product, I'm talking to an owner.
I gotta tell you this, 30 years ago, God blessed me with a special needs daughter. My wife really had to stay home. It's a 24/7 job. So we came to the resolution really that I would always be working until the day I die. And how that left my family, basically we had no idea. So when I heard about Preferred Pump and their ESOP, it was life-changing for me and my family. Because, you know, in 15 years, I could leave something for whoever takes care of my daughter. And I never had that before. That's my job as a provider for my family, to make sure that they're taken care of. And that's why I'm here. I would not have moved my family 3,000 miles across the country if I didn't believe that Preferred was going to do what they said they were going to do. And it turned out right. Florida feels like home. Once a week, she'll go ride horses, and we got her into Special Olympics, and she won a gold medal. She's doing bowling now. I mean, I wouldn't change anything about my daughter, not even a little. God really blessed us with a special, special, special girl. And then I really believe that God provided this for me and my family.
We know that we're an ESOP now. We know why we're an ESOP. And then cut to a year later, and we've had one of our best years. And then another year later, it's even better.
You have a stake in it. You're gonna work like you own the company, and no one works harder than the owner of a company. So from our drivers interacting with our customers to the person inside the warehouse answering the phone and taking the order, our welders, our machinists, technicians that go out and service the VFDs or that are turning the equipment, our outside reps, our salespeople, our accountants, our accounts payable, the guys and gals in credit, marketing team to the HR department, taking care of us as employees. All of these people, all of these owners, they care enough to get it right the first time, so the customer is not calling us about mistakes, but calling us to place the next order.
This company allows me to be there with my kids. Like I coach my kids in wrestling and jiu-jitsu, and so all of that helps guide and shape their future because I'm now part of it, whereas before I wasn't. I could be 100% invested with my family and be 100% invested with my job. I don't have to cheat either one. Like this ball game that we're gonna go to tomorrow, my kids will be there.
Every kid that's ever gone to a ball game with Preferred Pump knows who Mr. Randy is, and they all love him and think of him as family. When a baby's born, the departments are visiting. The kids matter.
Work pre-baby was my life, but then there's this new addition to my life. I'm gonna teach her women can be leaders and can make a difference. And I know that my boss and my team, they're family oriented.
It's who Randy is, and it's who Preferred Pump has always been. And so the ESOP keeps our culture intact forever.
I was born in the Philippines. My dad, he was a U.S. Navy worker and came back to the States to be with my family. Working for Preferred Pump, helped me purchase my first home. It's a foundation to have a better life and start a family. I see my retirement. When I check my account, my daughter's always right next to me checking hers too. See if it's if it's growing.
Future generations that haven't even been born yet are going to benefit from this ESOP. We've built a program to where somebody who starts 30 years from now is still going to get stock.
For a wedding or for a house, college funds, all the things that my parents, they weren't able to do for me. And now I have the ability to do that stuff for my son.
Anyone in my family would stand up and defend this company just because of what they've seen it do with and through me. Thank you, Randy. He gave this trashy truck driver an opportunity.
I talk to my dad every day after work, and he's like, Lauren, you found a lifetimer of a company.
And when you find that, hold on to it, dive into it. Don't let anything get in the way of you becoming a part of that.
Well, us with ESOP, we have an awesome retirement plan. To go enjoy. Me and my wife want to go and travel the world. We want to buy a big RV and go to different states and just travel around.
Knowing that I'll be able to provide for my family and what Mr. Lyon has given us, we know what the future will bring. The door is wide open. Sky is high for us.
For me,
Preferred Pump
And equipment
is more than a job.
Is more than a job.
We are
a family
made of local owners.
Proud working people.
Building a strong legacy.
Through our employee stock ownership plan.
ESOP.
Day by day.
Dollar for dollar.
At each branch.
With every vendor and customer.
Because together
together
we own
the future.